Gamers of Reddit, what was the most morally wrong thing you've done in a video game? Remember, no Russian. I think I speak for the majority when I say, I did it without flinching. Dated 3 girls on Minecraft at once. Quote unquote girls. Quote unquote 40-year-old neckbeards. In Black Mesa, which is a remake of Half-Life 1 with better graphics, there is a part where you have help from NPC security guards. You can have them follow you and help you kill some baddies. But after a certain point, you reach a barricade that they cannot follow you over, so they just stand there perpetually, utterly useless. Since if they are dead, they drop ammo, and if you just shoot one in front of his buddies, they will retaliate. What I did was told everyone to hold position, except for one guard whom I told to follow me. I lead him into a nearby room and close it behind us. Since I'm committing virtual murder for a single clip of bullets, shooting him seems wasteful. So I bash him over the head with the crowbar. Then I go to bring in the next one. He follows me, like a lamb to the slaughter. 2 of us are going to go to that room, but what he doesn't know is that only one will leave. Oh, and it gets worse. I close the virtual door behind us, and I suddenly realize that IRL, I have an erection. And I'm like, huh, that's strange. Before it dawns on me that holy shit, I'm a fucking psychopath, a virtual serial killer. I'm surprised by the lack of responses that talk about The Sims. There's so much morally wrong shit that people do in that game, lol. Sims 3, I impregnated my son's imaginary friend after I made her ill and then kicked her out to a hobo shack. Sims 4, I used a mod and prostituted myself for money then went on a killing rampage. Sims 3, I let my unicorn burn down my neighbor's home. I once maximumed my Sims science skill to clone himself, had the age setting for babies and children set long enough to get good perk pics and holy shit. I made him date the original Sims wife, impregnate her, and then took the Sim clone and having him die to electric shock by repairing a wet appliance. Then as the wife was mourning his loss she went into labor, cloned the daughter and original Sim, and had a weird dating thing going on. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me. Helped catch sex slaves in Fallout 3. Hi Oxhorn. I jumped off Yoshi to get over a pit and he fell to his death. Did you ever see him die? In lava, yeah. Playing Stellaris tends to bring out the worst in my morals. It's hard to find a single game where I don't commit an act of genocide. Probably the worst is uplifting a group of pre-sapient primitives to full sapience. Teaching them of ethics, the wonders of the universe and their place within it, molding their society. Then having them all killed, then eaten, shortly after they had the capacity to understand the full scope of genocide. Runner-up was using genetic engineering to create a species troll egalitarians. I engineered them to be perpetually miserable, sucking at all jobs, take up a lot of space, be politically dissident, but breed rapidly. Basically the right-wing paranoid racist caricature of a refugee. I then expelled them from my empire to any empire that would accept refugees. Admittedly this last one is less useful, now that populations per planet can go over 25. I would kill almost an entire race until they finally surrender, then they have like a tenth of their previous population and the remaining I just make them slaves. To my immense shame, I killed Parthenarchs, shaking head in disgust, captured animals from their natural habitat, and used them as weapons of destruction. This sounds like a bad description of Pokemon. Precisely. Megaton comes to mind. Presses the button. Fuck you Megaton. Tied up somebody and dragged him for 3,300 feet while on horseback. It was a challenge for Red Dead Redemption 2, and I really didn't enjoy having to do it because the guy was screaming, followed by some fleshy dragging noise. I remember in RDR1 saving a damsel in distress who was tied up on the train tracks. I picked her up, still tied up, and put her on the back of my horse to transport her back to safety. She started cursing me out, so I just turned around to put her back on the tracks, again, still tied up. John Marston ain't got no time for that. Killing a guy in Skyrim, orphaning his children, and then adopting one of them without the other as one of them fit the child aesthetic that I was going for. Oops. r/rimworld. Murdered several incoming raiders, forcing one of them to watch his own son die from a sniper bullet through the neck. The dad survived as a prisoner for some time, although repeated escape attempts forced me to remove his legs. He begrudgingly ate without a table until the time came to harvest his organs and feed the rest of his body to my pet turtle, Billy Whiz. Billy was later attacked by a wild panther, and whilst the panther was shot dead, we couldn't save Bill. So we ate him too. The circle of life is beautiful, and is now captured perfectly in a marble statue depicting the event. Delicately carved breadsticks resemble several colonists who appear to be gently crying over the body of Billy the turtle. The image is totally devoid of struggle. As Mario, I dropped that lost baby penguin to its death hundreds of times. Anyone who doesn't answer, picked up a hooker in GTA to get my health up. Then, after she got out, I jumped out and killed her and got my money back, is just lying. Or just forgot. I'm getting old here. When I used to play Roller Coaster Tycoon, I would delete parts of the roller coaster as people were riding it, so that I could watch them explode after their cars flew off the track. I committed a similar murder crime when playing Zoo Tycoon. I would wait until the park was swarming with people and then delete pieces of the animal cage fences to encourage the animals to chase and eat the people. I befriend people in Overwatch skirmishes and then kill them while their guard is down. Asshole. Euthanizing the companion cube. Used life pigs in Minecraft in a fancy pork chop cooking machine. It involved lava and a lot of unnecessary death. Shot a dog in the Division. Never again. Tied up a guy in DayZ and force fed him disinfectant spray until he died. I don't know if you've truly played DayZ if you haven't done this. In the early days I would have 3 pistols, with only one of them having a bullet in it. I'd make them pick a pistol off the ground and attempt suicide. Sometimes they would just try to shoot at me though. DayZ we had a whole scheme. I was the group female, so I'd usually run up to randoms begging for help over mic. Sometimes I'd get shot in the face, but sometimes they'd help. I'd usually lure them to the rest of my group. They'd get ambushed and knocked unconscious, then handcuffed and stripped. When they came to, we told them to wait 5 minutes before they started moving, and we'd take off with all their shit. We had a sniper though. If they moved too soon, blammo, good night. If they cooperated, we'd let them go. Eventually that got boring, and we started giving out captives Russian roulette blood transfusions or bleach injections. I'm not proud of it, not in the slightest. But I may have sorta used a cat as a suppressor on my shotgun to rob a bank, and then pee on the tellers. So I play Ark with some friends, and while it has the same enslaving wild animals thing as Pokemon, it's infinitely worse because of the breeding. Like Pokemon, you breed your animals to get new ones with progressively better stats. But the easiest way to get consistently good stats is by breeding related animals with their immediate family. What we've done is set up a dinosaur eugenics program based on incest, where we cull the unwanted babies and feed them to their siblings, who we then breed with each other or their parents to get a more consistently good batch of babies, who we then repeat the process with. But they mutate into pretty colors so it's okay. Blocked the freeway in GTA 5 with buses and backed up traffic. Turned on invincibility and primed a grenade. Laughed with amusement at the hundreds of exploding cars and fleeing drivers, many of whom would combust, and their screams of terror brought me joy. Happy face. 5 guys came to attack my colony. When they breached the door, a firefight ensued. One guy decided to not engage my colonist and instead beat my pregnant dog to death. The 4 others died, but I captured the dog killer. I stripped him naked and put him in a darkened jail cell. I chopped up his friends, used their leather to make clothing, and dumped the raw meat and human leather clothing the prison cell. I forbade everyone from feeding or talking to him. I took out one of his kidneys and one of his lungs. I removed both his legs and gave him peg legs. Then I sent him on his way, dressed in this friend's skin, back to whatever backwater he came from, to tell the tale.